What's up, Go enthusiasts? The Ing Cup is a special world championship that's held only once every 4 years. And so some people call it the Go Olympics. It used to be run on even 4 years, 2000, 2004, 2008, etc. But when 2020 hit, it was COVID. And so the Ing Cup was delayed, and the grand finals of the 2020 to 2023 Ing Cup were just played recently. It was Shinjinso versus Zheke in the finals. Let's see game one in the best of three. Shinjinso playing black, Zheke playing white. Shinjinso starts with a 3-3 invasion right away. And in modern game style, we instantly have the flying knife Joseki. Yeah, the flying knife is created when somebody challenges it by playing the knight's move originally. Then the other player can attach here if they are down to play this Joseki. And white can Hane here again only if they want to play the Joseki. And if both players basically agree that a complicated Joseki is what they want, then they can have it by playing like this. This is basically the only complicated long Joseki, which AI generally approves of, both sides playing into. And so it's very popular if you want to play that kind of game. For these players, I don't know whether they like exactly prefer playing the flying knife or just will play into it if the opponent accepts it. I think Shinjin So in particular just doesn't want to do anything the slightest bit inaccurate, and so he'll play the flying knife just because it is the slightest bit precise according to AI. Anyway, when you play into this kind of complicated Joseki, a lot of crazy stuff can happen. And I think a lot of people don't even really know the meanings of the first moves in the fight, the ones that most people can play. When you get into this position where black is cut on the outside, it must look quite crazy, right? First of all, if black can capture these two stones with little like compensation for white, then this is going to be a good result. So white definitely needs to try to save these two stones, and when he does, he needs to keep the most pressure he can on the black outside shapes, at the same time as he keeps an eye on his own outside shape. So the correct general move to save these two stones actually is not only specific to the flying knife, but most times that you have to save a two-stone shape like this, which has been haned and haned again, you can play the diagonal move here. And especially in this particular place in the corner, this is good, where this is threatening both to run to the side in better shape than normal, and also to play a hane into the corner and steal away the base in the corner. So this is the most common move to continue the flying knife. Then from here, black needs to keep the most pressure he can on not just the side, but also the center. So extending out like this is a very, very natural move. Looking to cut here, it has some ladder and net threats right away, which white pretty much has to answer. And if white does play just some waiting move in the center, black is also looking to play in the corner. So for example, at this moment, white must push here, because if they would connect, then this block in the corner already nearly captures those two cutting stones, and the fighting is just generally going to look very, very good for black. That's why whenever this Joseki is played, you always see white push here. They're looking to not only defend this cut, but at the same time, they make it so that black probably doesn't want to descend in the corner right away. Actually, it's still playable in some positions to descend there. That's the reason why the flying knife is so hard, is that everything is playable. But if in the game Shinjinso had chose to play like this, then white would hane this way, and then probably you push one time first before playing double hane. And a variation like this, uh, black captures the corner in a big way, but white's outside thickness looks really good here. Even though black has a cut already, this is a very, very imposing thickness whenever you get to block a corner on both sides. Both white has influence towards the top side and towards the left side. So uh, black hane is here. This is a much more standard move than what I showed, because this means black is looking to make a better shape if they would try to capture those stones and keep the pressure on in the center of the white stones. And white basically has to keep up this double dance that they're doing, where they're defending both the center and the side stones. They have to play this hane. It's also possible to pull back like this and then accept a sacrifice again, but usually we think that this cut is generally going to give black a pretty happy position in positions like this. In fact, black can do better than I showed before by playing on the side. Anyway, in the game, Wei Hanes, and black plays the tiger's mouth. So there's a few other flying knife variations that they can definitely have gone into, but this is the one which they chose in the game. And in this one, white should play to take a base in the corner, and black has only one move to connect here. Any other move wouldn't make any sense. It's literally forced to connect there. Because if you let the black corner die, and white not only like captures the corner, but has all of this outside stuff, it's going to be a complete disaster. And any other way to try to save the corner is not going to be reasonable shape. Basically, for black to save this corner in an acceptable shape, in all variations, he's going to have this one connecting stone because it creates so many cuts for white on the outside. It makes them possible, really, by making sure that white can't just capture this one stone on the top side, and doing so start to capture the 4 stones and roll away with the game. So connecting here is basically forced, and then again, white has options, but white chooses to play the Atari and the Knight's move. And again, black has options. Both players, I'm sure, have studied this Joseki with AI immensely, so they're prepared for this and they know exactly what they're doing. I've seen this in pro games before. Black has 2 main options, which are cutting, as Shinjunso does in the game, and cutting here. This one looks more intuitive to me. If I had never seen the position before, this is probably the one I would look to play. But this move is, of course, completely fine as well. What it means is white still has a bunch of cuts to fix, so they need to fix something like this. And black can proceed to Atari here and play the Ponuki shape, the manual Ponuki shape, to save his group on the side. That means black is saving his group in the corner and saving his group on the side. And all white gets is this sort of outside influence to compensate. So white starts with the Atari here, because he really needs to make sure that this outside influence is really worth something. And later on, he can try to Hane to live in the corner. But if you would do that too early and get shattered, if black could cut here and connect all his groups, that would be terrible. So we're basically playing these Ataris, the Atari and these pushes, in order to fix the white outside shape, so to make sure that black can't do anything that's too aggressive against us. And at this point, black chooses to switch back and save over here. So if black continued playing, then white would actually just keep pushing a bunch of times. And if any time black like comes back now, then here is going to be really awkward to finish again. You can see these exchanges accepting the white pushes before are now going to be bad. So black basically has to accept the whole time, playing like this. And then white can try to save in the corner, or he could even try to sacrifice playing like this. Both seem to be possible. I don't know which one is better. In the game, black chose, instead of accepting the pushes a bunch, he chose to immediately switch back to the left side. And this means that his group on the left is like really concretely alive now, but white gets to play these Ataris. The blackstones aren't like out of place when this happens, but white manages to make some kind of a nice looking influence on the outside and can fix it with one more move, make sure that there's no cuts that black can really use. However, black had prepared to play here, and the AIs were saying black is a little better from this Joseki. So I think it's pretty clear that Shinjunso had studied this, and he'd planned this whole thing out, and he knew this variation is slightly better for black, so he goes for it. In this variation, why is it better for black, even though white has so much influence outside? The corner is technically dead. However, it's a little bit difficult to kill. If white tries to save the corner right now, and white doesn't, white plays here. But if white would try to save the corner, they would start with this move. Then black should usually play here. If black wants to let the corner live, then he could simply live his own group and allow white to play here. Now you can see white has one eye in the corner, and black cannot reduce the other eye on the side. So this white group would be alive. That's why white, after Hane, must be answered by playing the 1-2 point, denying white the chance to make the eye on the side in very good shape. And if white connects now, locally, this black group is not alive. So black should live like this. But after black lives, when white plays here, black can do this. And when white plays here, black can do this. And this is a bent 4 in the corner. So a bent 4 in the corner is going to die eventually. What I mean is, if white tries to capture these 3 stones, then anytime black can let that happen and capture underneath. So if white fills these liberties, then you can see here this is a dead shape. But if white doesn't capture these 2 stones, how can black capture white? If white just tenukis forever, plays away forever, then black will much later, basically at the very end of the game, fill all of these liberties when there's nothing else to do. And then finally, when white has no co-threats left, black will trigger one more time playing in here, and then play the throw-in and capture like this. And if white has no co-threats on the rest of the board and literally no moves of value to play, then white will have nothing to do but pass and allow black to capture. So this group will be dead, but it's a dead in a bent 4, and that is going to give a lot of opportunity for white to take co-threats later. So it's going to be interesting to see how they use that Aji. In the meantime, the corner is solid territory for black because there's not that much of a way to use that kind of bent 4 Aji, and both of these groups are solidly alive. This is going to be fine for black for the time being. So that's why black attaches here and looks to reduce the white influence. He's really just looking to gain strength with his stone right here, so to float a group over here and make sure that this influence amounts to nothing. Then black would have more territory and win the game. So white plays an aggressive move in the local variation, playing the extend to the side, means that white intends to allow black to take a nice group on the side here and then attack it. And black chooses to push on the second line here. If black hadn't done that, later when white blocks, you may have noticed that white was also getting the descend and sente in that bend 4 variation that I was pointing out. This black group would not be locally alive. So black would have to compromise, either answer the white block or allow white to live in the corner. When that would happen, this push on the second line is denying that Aji any use. So now the corner is like really quite solidly dead. And black, by playing this move, is trying to say that white can't play very efficiently on the left side because black's already sort of stopped white from making any kind of a big territory here with a whole bunch of second line strength. Any move that white plays on the left side immediately is not going to have that much value compared to the black move just generally saving his group by running it out to the center. That's why white tenukis right away. It's a very good time to tanuki, allow black to just have these weak groups and wait for a better chance to attack them for real value later. So white approaches the upper right corner. Notice he doesn't approach on the top side where that area would be too small. Instead, he approaches from this side, and black chooses to slide. We don't see this slide very often, but Shinjin So can play it, then so can you if you want. The meaning of this slide is that Shinjin So didn't really want to play here because it leaves a lot of weaknesses for this kind of extreme power to use, where he's basically thinking that this whole thing could get attacked. And he doesn't want to play a small move either or anything like that. So by playing this slide, he's basically asking white to approach him on the top side again. Remember, if that approach would happen, the top side is too small. So he doesn't need to fear anything happening to him on the top side, then he just invites it, plays the slide, takes control of the right side. And white approaches again on the bottom right and chooses to block here. This is a good continuation after the slide. If you just block one time, that's never going to be that bad. And in this position, Shinjin So starts with the diagonal move, because if you would play here, it leaves open a lot more Aji that white can do some crazy invading thing, and it also controls a lot less against white's potential to attach across this knight's move. Now you can see with the diagonal move, the attach across can be easily answered with a tiger's mouth. So Jeke Tenukis, very reasonable. Black has managed to save his group, look to outline a little bit of territory in the corner there as he does it, and Jeke is quickly moving to take a large position on the right side by approaching both corners and continuing to build strength in the bottom right. Shinjin So plays this double hane variation. This variation looks to take the territory if possible, and this is a very sensible choice. A lot of people will just default naturally play like this, but in this position, let's say we play the very normal way, and then Tenuki is the standard Jiseki. Tenuki where? If you Tenuki to the bottom side, this is not very impressive because this white group is not particularly under attack at all. And so this influence can't really do anything in this board. That's why Shinjin So chooses to play the double hane instead, allowing white to take some position on the right side, and towards the center, and just instead taking the territory, saving his group. So white connects, black connects, very normal, and white chooses to play this jump. This is one of Fine Art's favorite moves, so Zheke is sort of copying Fine Art here. But in this board position, it's not really the right direction. Because, as Shinjin So shows, he can peep, and if just in general he manages to make any kind of group on the right side here, and just save it, he's going to end up attacking these two white groups, the 2 stones on the top side and the clump of stones on the bottom side. So white is actually just in a very difficult fighting position here. Is not going to be easy to surround or attack these black stones, and in the meantime he's going to have to take care of 2 burdens that he shouldn't really have had to take care of. So instead, it would have been better for white to play some random move on the side, maybe here or here, something like that, and prepare for some black invasion more thoroughly. So this move, Shinjuso plays the peep, trying to exploit it, and Zheke answers. Actually, even at this moment, Zheke could back down, could play here. It doesn't really look reasonable, but the point is we weren't supposed to emphasize the center. And this is a way to back off and do basically what he was supposed to do at the start. Instead, the game goes like this. And when Shinjin-So blocks here, you can sort of feel that he's getting some control over the game. Even though Zheke can pincer, Shinjin-So can run out. And you can't really imagine a way that this fight is going to turn out well for white, honestly. It's very difficult to envision such a result. White starts by playing the Hane here, that's just looking to take a base for his group, and so when Shinjin So denies it, Zheke is satisfied with a small endgame gain. And then he plays the standard jump, saving his group, and black can play his next move on the right side. So he pushes here and pushes again, basically making sure that as he saves his group, he has plenty of directions to run to the center. He would never get surrounded or anything. And white should save his own group of these 4 stones. But if you would just run, then white would just be forcing black to run in the middle and double attack again, and it's super awkward. So instead of trying to run out right away, white chooses to try to take the territory in the upper right corner. He clamps here, looking to walk in. Black saves his 1 stone, and when white blocks and connects on the first line, black tries to block the center. So this is quite a flimsy shape, but if black can connect these 2 groups in the center, that's going to be a success for black almost no matter what. It means that he wouldn't really have to take care of either group for quite a long time. They'd be very, very far from being surrounded. And instead of having 2 tasks to do, save both groups, he only would have to do 1. That's usually a great, great gain. And that's why, after making an exchange in the upper left, just confirming that black really will kill with the bent 4, white plays this Hane. And that Hane means that although black can double Hane, white plans to Atari and try to split. And in this moment, black must play the cut here. And then white has only one option between connecting and capturing. Only one of them is any good. Feel free to pause the video and figure out which one. The correct answer is to connect. If you play the capture, then black can cut here, and black is just going to start tearing apart this white group on the right side. There's basically no recourse for that group to save itself, especially since if you lose this ko, black instantly saves all of his own groups while killing you. That's super not good. So white needed to connect here, definitely mandatory, and that allowed black to extend. So now we have some weird kind of fighting where white has 2 cuts and is trying to attack kind of the top side group, kind of these 2 stones, kind of the group on the right side. None of them are that weak right away, but all 3 of them together, if you can combine all of their weaknesses into one strong punch, then you can maybe get something done for white here. So white extends, and black hanes, white ataris, and connects. He simply saved his cutting stone in the area with a weaker group. So he thought that this black group was weaker than the top black group, and so he's just saved his 1 cutting stone, looks to keep the pressure on for that black group. How will Shinjin So try to save it? He plays clamp. It may look a little strange, just clamp right away when you're trying to save this group, but the meaning is if white plays a surrounding move, black will steal away all of the base of this white group. So white definitely needs to take his base on the right side. He plays this knight's move, and when black blocks, White finishes off his base like this, making sure that he's locally alive on the right. And that allows black to then take the Sente to run out his group on the bottom side. And he's going to try to keep as much pressure as he can on white's bottom group and those 4 stones in the center. Meanwhile, white is going to try to involve his other attacks in the center as he gains initiative. He also wants to use his power against the black group in the bottom right. So it's quite a complicated fight that's going on right now. White starts by playing simply push here. If you would allow black to turn, nothing good is going to happen with those 4 stones. So push here seems mandatory, and black continues by playing the block. It's actually a bit of a mistake, and we're going to see why. Joker punishes pretty well here. He plays the shoulder hit, and Shinjin So plays the knight's move. And then Joker plays a very, very interesting sharp move that personally I would have a lot of trouble thinking of. He played attach here. And it looks, I think, quite weird. Usually we don't attach because our opponent can just like answer, and what did we gain? But in this case, Joker has a very clear idea of what he gained. He says he gained connection possibility in the center. You might ask me, well, like, what does that do? Well, Shinjin So asked that too. He ended up connecting in this manner rather than directly. This gains Shinjin So better control over the bottom side. So it looks like this was a really bad exchange, but Joker had a very, very nice Tezuji lined up, the attach across the knight's move. Of course, this cut doesn't work. Black can push, and when white cuts, black can capture that 1 stone. But Joker never planned for this cut to work. He only thought he could Atari on the outside now, and then although black can capture that 1 stone, Joker starts this ko, and Shinjin So has to save his whole group with 2 eyes inside. That may sound very difficult right now because he has no eye here, but actually he can just play this move, and when Joker captures the ko, he makes a 2nd eye. It was easier than you thought, right? Joker couldn't possibly try to kill the group with a eye stealing Tezuji right now because black could start to push out and use the white weaknesses on the outside. It was definitely necessary for white to thicken those up, capture the ko, make sure that he's all strong outside, and allow this black group to live. But even still, this result looks pretty good for white, you have to say, because this black group, which was running out and it was hoping to attack the white group on the bottom and these stones in the center, it completely failed to do any of that. It only managed to make 2 points saving itself. And of course, the black group being safe is like a nice objective, and you can say black gained even a little bit towards the bottom side, as this was done by having an extra stone on the bottom side with that diagonal shape, and the fact that the bottom right group is now extremely strong. But nonetheless, the white influence now, and the fact that white even has 1 more move to grow it, it looks quite imposing. The white group on the right side is still completely alive, although black failed at liberty here. And white continues by playing the push and the push again here, looking to squeeze these black stones over their cut there. And black really can't answer this with 1 more move on the top side and allow white to spend 1 more move in the center and just get this huge, huge moyo. So black plays the first move in the center. He plays from the left side here, looking to sort of gently reduce as he makes sure that he is paying some attention still to the strength of his stones in the bottom left. But this gives white the chance to Atari here in Sente. Black must answer. And you can see that white's like potential territory on the top side is sort of seems to be growing out of nowhere, right? His position is looking pretty good for Jaka. He continues by blocking here on the top side. And I think this was maybe 1 step too far. But I wouldn't really know why myself. It looks right now like this is keeping a lot of pressure on the black corner group. But Shinjin So, at this very precise timing, defends his corner group in a really, really nice way. You can feel free to pause the video, see if you can find the right way to play in the upper right corner now. Shinjin So plays push here 1 time, and then the peep like this. And white still needs to save himself, so he really should eat that 1 stone, make sure that he gets the eye underneath it. But by doing this, Shinjin So's Atari here is Sente. If white wouldn't answer, then black could Atari. And when white connects, capture the whole clump of stones. So white must answer that by connecting over here. And later, black can even play this Atari in Sente as well. And so from that, you can see this black group is really in no trouble ever at all. It has one eye here, another eye here, and probably a couple more eyes on on the top side. It's really no trouble at all. Then you have to question a little bit how efficient that white block on the top side was. Because if it's not really putting pressure, it's just a territory move, and the territory on the top side is not that big. It's still pretty close to the other stones on the top side towards the left. It's just a few points really that white gained with that block. So maybe it would have been better suited to play that move in the center as black now does. Yeah, by playing this knight's move, you can see Shinjin-so is really giving Zheka a hard time. If Zheka just answers, it's going to be too small. But if he dives in, he's just going to let black break his own area naturally. So this moyo it's really difficult to continue playing when you have a moyo and your opponent is asking you to take it, but you can't. And you have to just find something else to do on the board. Oftentimes, the something else is really, really difficult to make sure that it links up properly with the rest of your moves. In this board, Zheka makes a mistake by playing this one space jump. It's not that bad of a move, but it's not an ideal move, where it's pretty clear after Shinjin-so, well, after making some small co-exchange, plays a move in the center. If I compare the value of these two moves, the white move here is sort of helping him reduce the left side. The black move here, though, is fixing all of the black weaknesses, helping him push through here, even leaving some more weaknesses on the right side, and helping him control the bottom. Basically, the black weaknesses in the center were more important to add a move to than what white added a move to here. And so you can pretty easily say that this is a good exchange for black, these two moves just in isolation. Then that was too easy. We really shouldn't let our opponent take a good exchange at this level. In my opinion, Zheka was better served to find a way to dive into the left side like this. This is the proper way to use a moyo, where you play on the other side of it. And by doing something like this, as long as this one stone isn't going to die, those two stones will have to pay for their life in a fair way eventually. They won't get to just scam you while you take something that isn't that valuable, because what you're taking is already valuable on the left side. The attack on this, there's no way that black can put you into a valueless place when you play on this side. So this was a small mistake by Zheka that loses him some control, loses him some initiative over black in the game. And Zheka continues by trying to play this move in a forcing manner. Shinjin-so answers. He couldn't ever win that ko. And then he plays another defensive move. I believe that the reason Zheka played these couple sort of defensive-looking moves, like finishing off his moyo, is because Zheka believed that he was winning this game. And indeed he was. After the right side variation, where Zheka managed to find this nice attach looking to play a surround on black on the right side, or potentially just a cut if black wouldn't answer at all. White definitely had the lead in this game, but just a couple slack moves like this, and black is already back in it. Certainly black isn't leading yet, but the game is very close. And Shinjin-so starts by asking for the whole bottom side. He approaches the bottom left corner here, and normally you would think that this is just going to hurt his other stones, but because he's already gotten some thickness there in the center, it's very difficult for white to launch any real attack or pressure. So white chooses to answer again in the center. This was one of the losing moves. This is really, really not a good idea. He's already spent several defensive moves in the center. We should not need another one. Like, we shouldn't even have needed the first two. And in this position, it's more natural to play some move over here. You can capture. This is probably the best move. Or you could play some move looking to run out and looking to like make another group. This kind of thing is completely reasonable, actually, when you have this much power on the other side. This move was because he realized if he does this, then black's next action is probably to push through a couple times. And Zheka would not be able to cut here due to the cut and some really serious counter pressure that black could put by using this kind of ladder shenanigan combined with the ko, combined with the weaknesses there, etc. So if this happened, Zheka would have had to fall back all the way like this. Even after this one, he may have had to fall back again. This is a really, really annoying thing to have to accept. But that's the fault of the first two moves. It's not the fault that he has to like fix it now. He just has to accept, okay, those moves are bad. However, for top pro players, only the very, very best ones can accept that they made a mistake and walk into a slightly bad variation afterwards on purpose just to make sure that they're playing the best move now. It's so difficult humanly to be like, yeah, I made a mistake. I'm going to take a bad variation now. Because you should usually just like you should try to get the neutral variation, right? So he's thinking, Shaka is thinking when he plays here, okay, I'll let black play some move, but this at least this is like reasonable. Like his moves are not necessarily all wrong, but actually the mistakes are all compounded. It's consistent, but it's not correct. Black plays the ko. And this is why. Shinjin So is about to leave a lot of pressure on this white group because after Zheka is committed so hard to blocking this area, all of Shinjin So's moves looking to break it are co-threats. This is another problem with committing for your Moyo. You can't trade it away later. So now when White captures this ko, Black first plays the co-threat on the right side and White answers, and Black has basically forced White to fill the ko. White can't reasonably fight for a capture here. White needs to just answer in the corner, make sure he has his base, but Black plays another move to grow the bottom. And just getting this exchange already strengthens his left side quite a bit and even enables Black to think about attacking this bottom left corner someday. It's a diagonal move looking to grow the bottom and reduce its space. Looks quite scary. White tries to bring back his own method, play the Hane. I should clarify, in some positions, playing many, many moves directly on your Moyo while your opponent plays away is really good. However, this is not one of those positions. In this board, Wei has basically taken 4 moves in a row, 3 in the center and 1 more on the top side, to expand this huge topside area that he had that was making him win the game. But because at the end, even though he gets it all, it just isn't that big, these moves weren't that efficient. And in particular, this one may be one of the final losing moves for Zheka this game, where most players are just going to answer this, but Shinjin So knows better. He knows he's going to be alive even though Zheka plays 2 more moves. Even though Zheka extends, Shinjin So still wouldn't have to answer. If Zheka would continue falsifying the eye, he could take an eye in the corner or vice versa. So Shinjin So just immediately plays a forcing move here. White plays a forcing move on the top side, looking to gain time or maybe take the endgame there, and answers here. And then Shinjin So takes control one more time in the bottom left. Now this bottom left group is like properly surrounded. So Zheka has only one real option from here. He has to attach and look to save it and break this area. If you would just let Shinjin So play another diagonal move and make this whole bottom left area his, and attack the group at the same time, it's just way too much. So this is necessary. And cut and Atari. This is all necessary, and Zheka must play some outside move, either attach across or connect, or they're similar. But he could not simply play here and try to live the group, because when Black cuts, this area is suddenly practically territory. And it even strengthens all of his potentially weak groups that Shinjin So is kind of worrying about earlier. So White has to fight back, attach across like this, but Black pushes in this way. And White's base is quickly disappearing. White plays to capture the ko, very reasonable. Black plays a ko threat, captures the ko back, and White plays the connect here. This was the AI recommended move, but I don't really like it. I think this is so difficult to play after you play here. It's difficult to play anyway because we have to take care of this group. It's like just a really difficult position that Shinjin So has gotten White into now. This White group needs to make sure to save itself, but at the same time, it needs to be actively going against these Black weaknesses. The Black weaknesses in the center, the Black weaknesses on the left side. White needs to make something of them, break the bottom, break the left, or something in compensation for them, or it's not going to be enough for White. So when he connects here and Black chases again into the corner, White has basically put himself into a position where he has to win this ko. Otherwise, the left group is not going to become in trouble. And the problem is when Black Ataris here, White had already committed so many moves to the Moyo, he couldn't really reasonably allow black in, so he answered. And then we're just in a big problem where black has a million co-threats on the top side. All these co-threats are going to threaten to break the white Moyo. White just doesn't have enough co-threats to win this co. So at this point, white could like answer at the corner. It's actually the AI best move is to connect here, just accept you're going to lose the co eventually. It's just not human to do that. White plays a couple more co-threats, answers again, and he plays another move in the center. So he's looking to chase the center group's weaknesses. The problem is black can just cut here, and white can't win the co. Black has so many co-threats still. So white eventually plays this move. This is basically the biggest trade that white could have gotten, where black is going to win the ko like this, and white gets to live in the corner. So that group is now solidly alive, but black is alive on the top side, on the left side, and black has captured the bottom left corner. Even beyond capturing the bottom left corner, black is attacking this group on the bottom side. He continues with the diagonal move. And you can see this white group is like practically impossible to save. Black has taken complete control of this game. And white is going to have to do something. He attaches here. He's looking for complications. Attach. White allows the Hane inside, sees it, says, I'm going to use those cuts in the center of yours somehow. I'm going to attack from this side, attack from the side here. I'm going to try to counter. And black just fixes all of those cuts in the center. He doesn't allow any extra shenaniganry to occur. White links back up on the left side and allows black to split like this. So basically white has done a good job here of sacrificing these stones in a very minimal way, where black's potential territory from capturing them is about as small as it can possibly be. White got a bit on the left, white got a bit in the center, but still those stones are captured. And when black plays here, he has a really nasty plan. If black could capture these two stones, the game is like really properly over. So white, after exchanging a couple times, tries to save them and plays this Atari and plays here. And white can save those stones. But secretly, while that happened, black created a ko to kill the bottom right. Although white can cut all this way, white actually gets some nice squeezes in the center. These stones are dead in a very minimal way. The fact that eventually white has to play a ko to save these stones, it's just way too much. And in the game, Zheke continues by playing this extend into the upper right corner. Yeah, it's because if he would just connect that ko, he would be losing by about 10 points. That doesn't mean this is better. This way, black is just going to play all his co-threats out. There's still a million co-threats on the top side and even a couple over here as well. And eventually, after some time playing these co-threats out, white managed to win the ko, but black took some nice area in the upper right corner and played one more endgame move and wins the game by a comfortable margin. Zheke resigns. It was a great game. Zheke had a lead for a significant portion of the middle game, but couldn't help himself but try to continue to expand his Moyo. Many times, if your Moyo is big enough, that's the correct thing to do. In this case, the Moyo was just too small, so Shinjin-So could ignore it at each turn, taking the initiative to defend his own weak stones. And when he eventually had way more co-threats than white in the bottom left, he could play a crazy mission to steal away its whole base and kill the group. He succeeded and won the game. It was a really fun one. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll be back next week to cover the In Cup Game 2 Grand Finals 2023. See you then.